A very good morning to you, viewers. Welcome to It. It is Friday, and people are excited about Friday, but we are here to do that business transaction that you always want, for you to do something in the evening and have something in your pocket. We are talking business this breakfast. Patrick, good morning.
Good morning, Sharon. Interesting as usual.
Something.
Yes, we are the unusual
unusual host for the business for breakfast, but we are here because something is needed by everybody, Patrick.
Yes,
regardless.
Talking business. What business are you in?
You know, Patrick, na iwan pavantu pano. Let's not do that to each other. Should we?
I used to in the business of Michopo.
Money is money. Money taile mpeka.
Yeah, interesting.
Regardless.
Interesting.
Anyway, we are here. We will be zooming into some of the business stories that have been happening throughout this week. The highlight of the week has been the increment of ZESCO connection fees, Patrick, from about 750 kwacha for the normal ones, the domestic, to about 4,000. That's a huge increase, and it has caused a lot of stir, a lot of debate among members of the public. But it was steered down when the president on Tuesday talked about it, and yesterday, Patrick, you should know that President Hakainde Hichilema met ZESCO management and Minister of Energy to see to it how they can mitigate the whole thing. I'm not sure even the load shedding probably came in, probably the same rates came in. We are yet to know and understand the real outcome of those conversations they had yesterday, but we are hoping that in due course something better will come up. Otherwise, Zambia already has a deficit of power. It has very few people, Patrick, according to the statistics, at least as of 2018, 2017, we only had about 20% of the Zambian population accessing power. But then if you increase to that margin, how many people will manage, Others have actually taken advantage, especially those in the opposition political parties, to say, they would never ever access power, because really, if they failed to access power at 750 connection fee, what more than 4,000 kwacha? It's quite exorbitant to many Zambians that are still struggling at the moment. We will talk about that, among many other topical stories in the business world. Patrick?
Yeah, interesting. Like you put it, Sharon. There we'll be looking at quite a number of business stories that have been happening this week, and our topic of discussion is focused towards the people's perspective on the long-term solutions regarding combating the high cost of living. Because overall, whatever you have mentioned, Sharon, also hinges on the high cost of living, because if energy, the cost of energy is high, you don't expect the cost of living to be lower. So that's a topic of discussion which our viewers will be giving us their perspective on. And just now we go to our first segment, which is the morning boost, so that we start by exercising before we start talking
fighting about money, fighting about something. Let's look at this.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Arson, aka the Fitness Puppy. We are here at Chonzi Fitness Gym in conjunction with the Camnet TV, and today we are going to do abs. We are going to do sit-ups. Get ready, we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Going 40 seconds. Thirty seconds. Let's go, 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and cut. Okay? So next one. Just stand straight. Let's go. Elbow to knee. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Both sides. Let's go. "40 seconds. Let's go. 30 seconds. Keep going. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. Let's go. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and quit. Okay? Next one. We're doing a toe touch. This is probably the last exercise. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Going. 40 seconds. 30 seconds. Come on. Let's go. 20 seconds. 15 seconds. Let's go. 10 seconds. Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and quit. Okay. Lastly, we are going to stretch. Okay. We're starting with the cobra stretch. Let's go for a minute. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, and we go. Let's go. This is what we call cobra stretch. It's a type of stretch that will stretch almost every part of your body parts. Let's go. Stretch the lower back, shoulders, legs, including glutes. Let's go. We have 30 seconds. Let's go. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and quit. Okay, you've been with me, Harrison, aka the Fitness Puppy. Until next time, bye bye.
Welcome back. That was the morning booster there. Quite an interesting exercise. I hope you manage that we also just join and be able to do that drill. And I know it's not easy, but if you don't have time, you can actually find time to go to the gym so they can instruct you. Then you can be doing it at your convenience, and you can equally follow when we do it here on Camnet TV. We just follow some exercise, like we always say. It is always good to do it right, because if you don't do it right, sometimes it may equally pose serious consequences. So let's exercise with caution and make sure that we get it right. And just now we have to get to our next segment, which is the health corner. And the doctors, like Sharon always put it, never disappoint in terms of highlighting various issues pertaining to health.
They are our partner indeed, Patrick. Award-winning station for health reporting, Camnet TV. Let's look at what the doctors have brought for us this morning.
Good morning, viewers. I'm Dr. Mutinta Muyuni, gynecologist, and today we're going to continue our talk on the menstrual cycle. We've talked about the menstrual cycle, where we are starting from, and we talked about some disorders of the menstrual cycle, and we've talked about how the menstrual cycle is a marker of the fact that we are ovulating and ready to fall pregnant, and that if that pregnancy does not occur, that the lining of the uterus will be shed, and this is important for us to take note. Why? We want to plan our pregnancies, we want to plan our lives. Menstrual cycles are a marker of fertility. Now today we're going to discuss menopause. Menopause is now at the end of our reproductive life. Menopause typically can be characterized into three phases. The perimenopause, meaning at least 5 to 10 years before your menopause, the menopause itself, and the period after the menopause. The perimenopause is characterized by a time when you are still having your menstrual cycles, though they may be irregular, but they are interspersed with symptoms that are associated with menopause, like hot flashes, like fatigue, lack of sleep, but you're still having your periods. This is in the perimenopause. Now take care, I'm talking about the biological menopause. There's also menopause that can be caused by surgical procedures for various treatments, cancer, for example, of the uterus, or cancer of the ovary, that may be resulting your reproductive system as women being removed. So today we are just focusing on the biological stoppage of the menses. So if you are still having your periods, regular or irregular, but now symptoms of menopause are interspersed within that period, we call it the perimenopause period, ranging from 40, 45, right up to about 50, 51, where we expect the menopause to happen. What is menopause? I'm going to emphasize this. Also, sometimes in this period of the perimenopause, our fertility is really at a critical low. Our hormones are at a critical low. So sometimes we feel as women that I'm going to push and have my conception much later. But take care, even if you are not having your period, even if you are having your periods in the perimenopause, you may be at a stage where you are unable to conceive because of the critical level or low number of eggs that we have at this stage. During the menopause itself, we only say you have achieved menopause when you have had no periods for 12 straight months or 1 year. After this period of time, we call it postmenopause. This is characterized by many symptoms. Again, top to toe. Mood swings may intensify, feelings of self-pity, feelings of anger. Some women just want to be alone. And please understand us when we are going through this. Don't be upset. It's biology. It's nature. Help us to manage it as we help ourselves. So, if you are having symptoms where you are crying frequently, your appearance is changing, your hair is thinning, these are all signs of menopause, and don't be so shocked about them. Rather, seek how can we minimize these symptoms. We may have again breast pain, lack of breast sensation, for example. We may have increased urinary frequency or passing a lot of urine quite frequency, which may be confused also with onset of diabetes. So, see, you have to come and be diagnosed for some of these things. Sometimes you have a lot of pain. Why? Because of low estrogen and the dryness in the vagina. So, lack of moisture, that tight feeling or uncomfortable, where sometimes even during intimacy, you may have bleeding because of the dryness in the vagina due to menopause. But that can also be cervical cancer. So you have to come and seek attention. It's not a time to shy away from the hospital, rather a time to intensify understanding why I'm going through some of these. Again, going down to the lower limbs, we have joint pain, backache, brittle bones or bone weakness, particularly in those women who have had many children. So you want to take your calcium supplements during pregnancy to counter what you are going to experience during the menopause period. You may also have, because estrogen helps regulate cholesterol levels in conjunction with the liver, you may have cardiovascular events or things like hypertension creeping in. You may have things like chest tightness creeping in after your menopause. You may have palpitations, anxiety spells. All of these are symptoms or things that you might feel. And of course, to top it all, the all famous hot flashes. I feel hot, I'm sweating suddenly, I'm drenching the beds, I can't sleep at night. I feel like there's something crawling all over my body. My dear, this is just part of menopause. Maybe the beginning, hopefully it will improve as the years go by. Might not, but if you need help, you know where to find us. I'm Dr. Mutinta Myuni from Medical Women's Association of Zambia, talking to you about menopause today. See you tomorrow as we delve more into these important landmarks for women.
There you have it. As we always say it, you can also send us those topics that you want the doctors to talk about next year. I think we're only a week or so away. Patrick, it doesn't really feel like the festive season. I'm not sure. Maybe because we are always working, we are always here to entertain people, to inform them, to educate them. It just feels like, you know, normal period. But I remember back in the days, not very long. If I say back in the days, it would seem like I'm a fossil. I'm a living fossil. You know, festive season would be like hyped. Maybe we're just not paying attention, Patrick.
Yes, you are not paying attention because every time you're thinking of which one is my next story. Where am I going to? So it's not easy.
It's not easy, right? I'm not paying. I'm like blind to everything else.
But if you ask your children and others,
they're excited
about
the vibe. You know, I didn't even know Christmas was this Sunday. actually thought it's next week Wednesday until you told me I said it's the Iwe Nipa Sunday. You know, I was like, oh, okay, that's how much blind I am to these things. But anyway, I think it comes with how busy your schedule is as well. You just don't realize what people are doing and what's happening around. However, it is the festive season indeed, and compliments of the season to you from us here at Camnet TV. We want to hear from you. Obviously, next year we're going to redefine how we're going to bring the health corner. Patrick will look at other things as well into play and see to it that it becomes more interesting, probably more appealing to you. You know, there's always a way of doing something better. However, this year we're still running with this format until probably next year when we're going to redefine almost everything, you know, that we bring on the show. We are talking business this morning, and yesterday Patrick and I covered the Vice President where she was reopening part of Lusaka's city market. It was gutted, I think that was 3-4 years ago. It was abandoned, and the reconstruction started, and yesterday part of it was officially reopened. People have been trading in there for some time, I think, but yesterday it was officially reopened. Some interesting pronouncements were made, Patrick, from the Vice President on that matter.
Yes, quite interesting pronouncement, like you put it, where you know, the problem of street vending is something government has been grappling with, and they are trying by all means to find the best way possible to just ensure that it is eliminated. This is given the fact that it usually disadvantages those who trade within the market premises. Everyone else would opt to go and trade along the street, because that's where Madam Karimbula will buy when she's on a vehicle.
Everyone is a culprit.
It's convenient. So, and to avoid this convenience, the Vice President did suggest that a statutory instrument can be developed to compel both the buyer and the vendor to a fine or penalize develop some sort of a punishment to ensure that both pay for that,
for the act,
because the idea is that to discourage you from buying from the street, to go to the designated market, so that people can have business. Those who trade in designated places, you know that those who trade in markets, they pay taxes to the government, unlike those who are in the street. They may be paying, but they're not paying what is due. No. You understand?
They may even be paying to the wrong people.
To the wrong people, yes. They may be paying to cadres, not the wrong people. Cadres. They may be paying to cadres, yes. So, but now, those who pay to the councils and everything, they are obliged, they are organized, they tend to be disadvantaged. Yes. So everyone else would opt to trade in the street. So we get to listen to this story. Then we are getting your perspective on this and other matters that we are bringing out on the Camnet Business Breakfast Show.
Of course, right away you can start dialing those figures and get interactive with us. The questions or the conversation is based on the scroll on your screen. Yes. Is it okay for government to come up with a statutory instrument that will penalize both the buyer and the seller on the streets? Because street vending is something that has been fought for a very long time, and Gary Nkombo was at loggerheads at some point with the cadres when he just assumed office. You know, he wanted to bring out this Van Damme of his in the streets, but you know, the vendors were like, we did say Van Damme. It was crazy. But anyway, let's look at the story and we can discuss it thereafter.
Memories are still fresh on the 2017 City Market fire episode at the Zambia's biggest market in the nation's capital city. People lost their livelihoods as a blaze destroyed property worth millions of kwacha. In February 2021, the government engaged the Zambia National Service to rehabilitate the city market, and Thursday, 22nd December 2022, Vice President Mutale Nalumango led government officials and traders in commissioning part of the rehabilitated city market. And this comes as good news to the traders. Mrs. Nalumango called for stiff laws that will see vendors and those who buy from them being fined.
In the market, they leave a stand, and those who buy in the streets. Is there no way to have such a bylaw? Because the one buying knows where the market is. We encourage people to be running in the streets. We want order in our country. So that you can so that everybody has an opportunity to pull it up. Because that's why they come out of the market. Because if they have no clients, the clients are buying along the road. They follow. Because the whole day you are in order sitting in a stand, nobody comes to buy. But we now got the road,
Meanwhile, the vice president has emphasized that acts of impunity by cadres will not be condoned because the running of markets and bus stations is a preserve of the local authority.
The reason to come and make yourself the levy collector when you are not is not correct. To harass anybody in the name of distorting money from them, this is not who we are, particularly you. That time is gone.
And speaking area, local government and rural development minister Garin Kombo urged traders to conduct their business in designated places in order to ensure cleanliness in the city, further urging the police to play their role in curbing acts of lawlessness in markets and bus stations.
That if you are going to promote the wanton desire for Zambia to remain just a trading ground everywhere, the law is going to take its course. But I think before we apply the law, we must be our own police. We must police ourselves and say, I am trading on Cairo Road. What am I doing to the person who's trading in Soweto Market? The integral reasons why the Zambian people gave us this opportunity to look after their interests and their aspirations is because the cadre who became a criminal became overbearing on the ordinary citizen. The president has been very clear that the cadre is welcome to come and trade here, not to start getting money from people.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Well, welcome back. Thank you for still watching. And interesting story there coming from the vice president and Van Damme.
Van Damme, always with his shades, you know. And the topic we are discussing this morning is scrolling on your screen. What is your perspective insofar as the living conditions or the living standards are concerned? We are winding up the year, and how has it been for you? The food basket keeps on increasing. At some point it had decreased for a little, coins, but then is it responsive to your needs, or is your income in tandem with the food basket, which is about 9,000 kwacha? Are you getting that money at the end of the month, or are you able to make that money at the end of the month? And remember, this food basket is for a family of 5. Usually that's what they do, not so.
Yes.
So if you are more than 5, you're 10, for example, meaning you need 18,000 kwacha a month for you to feed at least 3 meals a day. But is that possible? Are you able to make a living with the business you're doing, with the job that you have, with whatever sources of income that you have? Legal though, if I say whatever sources of income, people will actually go ballistic, thinking of whatever illegalities they can do as long as they have food on their table. However, we are talking about legal ways of earning money. We are also riding on whether government's proposal or the VIP's proposal to say we should be penalizing people that are buying from street vendors. This is aimed at curtailing vending.
But what would be your opinion
My opinion
in this aspect?
I think it's okay. It's okay, you know. I've always thought there's always a way in which this can be dealt with, but it has proven to be impossible. All the methods that they've put up have proven to be impossible. But you know, when one is dealt with using money, you get, huh? When you just get something from what they earn, it's painful.
But
it will compel them to just not do it.
I would rather go with it's not fine. Ask me why.
Why?
It is you as government who is failing to create that favorable environment for trading.
What do you mean favorable environment, Patrick? You and I have seen that story that Zipporah has constantly covered in Chawama, for example, where people have deserted the market.
You want me to go and trade in Chawama when in the central business district there is more money?
That's an example that I'm giving you.
Yes.
It's an example I'm giving you because it's not only in town where people are vending everywhere.
Yes. Now let's zero in on the CBD.
So when we come to the central business district, Patrick, of course people have no enough trading places, or maybe people have just awakened. That's what I want to believe, that people have awakened to the fact that they can earn money doing these small businesses. You know, a long time people would want to just be formally employed, but nowadays people are out there in the streets. Yes. They call themselves hustlers. Yes. and running around and making money. So but at the same time, Patrick, there are places that are supposed to be used for conducting businesses. Of course, when City Market was gutted, that is the excuse that people have always given to say, but I mean,
but again, is it going to accommodate everyone?
It's not going to accommodate everyone, but it will accommodate the majority. And government says, I'm not a government spokesperson, but according to what she said as the vice president, is that we are working on modalities. Even Gary Nkombo himself, Minister of Local Government, we are working on ways in which we are going to do this. So if you are given that opportunity for a trading space, you should be fined. So if you're found on the street, but you have
because I'm buying from this vendor, Sharon, because this government has made it favorable and conducive for the vendor to trade. So if they shouldn't inconvenience.
So no. So if you have been given a place to trade from, why should you be in the streets?
But if I don't have, what happens? Because I don't think the markets are
That's
adequate.
why they're supposed to come up with modalities of how they're going to do this. Because if I'm basing my argument on you've been given a trading space. Why are you in the streets? In the first place, why are you in the streets? Because definitely the truth of the matter is that people will be given trading spaces. Not everybody, of course, but others will be given. So you don't expect people to just make a decision about paying effort. All of you will be accommodated. It's not possible, Patrick. Let's be realistic. This is what we are discussing this morning. What's your take? Do you want to be fined or do you want to be penalized for buying those beautiful mangoes, those beautiful masukus and tasty mangoes on the streets?
For standing along
Cairo Road,
buying that nice Salaula shirt.
Yes, those nice Salaula shirts. Do you want to be penalized for doing that? This is what we are discussing this morning, as well as coupled with how you view the cost of living this year, 2022, as we transition into 2023. I keep reminding people this is the festive season. It is a season to be jolly, and I hope that you are excited wherever you are and expectant of 2023. Patrick, let's look at some of the stories that we did this week. Very interesting to note, Patrick, where Zambia's fourth mobile network operator, Beeline Telecoms Trading as Z Mobile, launched the day before yesterday. This is a very interesting business story, Patrick, in that we've had these, we talked about it briefly yesterday. We've had 3 mobile companies that have been offering services for both calls and internet and have not been very good. We've complained tirelessly of one where the network I'm using, and I've always been told to go the other way, the vegetation way, but I'm not sure if the advice is being heeded too. However, this is the 4th mobile network operator. Have you seen their Facebook page though? Have you seen how they're posting? They're enticing people.
No, not really. I haven't.
Quite interesting, childishly somewhere, and you should look at it. You should look at it. You know, they're doing their PR in a form of shaming the others. You know, like wagulaka internet kasila soche. You know, such posts. You know, but you and I would actually pick it to say, okay, they're telling those, you know. So, you know, welcome to a network that will give you long hours of talking, give you enough good internet.
I saw some Chinese
things like
guys
that.
as well during the launch. Are they the ones behind the engineering stuff or what?
Maybe they could be, but according to the statement that was issued on the material day of the launch, was that it was Zambian owned. I'm not very sure if it was indeed Zambian
Yeah, it
owned.
is. It could be a Zambian one, but you need also experts. And
Yeah,
I think those where those guys are fitting. They do the expatriate work.
It will be very exciting to actually note that indeed it is an indigenous mobile network operator. It will be very exciting because it will compete with our own local one, which is the grids, and we'll see to it. Of course, the other one is public, the other one is private, but then we'll be able to compare.
Yeah, for me, I would rather we support our
public?
own.
The public?
The public and our private own.